Inside this box is the most powerful home gaming console of all time. I'm sure you guys already know that. It's a $700 PlayStation. That sounds crazy to say. Now today is officially launch day, November 7th, 2024. I pre-ordered this console probably about a month and a half to 2 months ago, and it's here. It's finally here. The PlayStation 5 Pro. And in today's video, we're gonna unbox the brand new $700 console from Sony and find out whether this console is worth your money and whether you should buy one. But before we take a look at the console itself, let's first take a look at the box. On the front, you've got this sort of black background with this glossy PlayStation 5 Pro sort of popping up out of the, I guess the table in this case. You've got PlayStation 5 Pro written right there. PlayStation 5 Pro again. On the top right, you've got some callouts for some of the capabilities and features. You've got 4K 120Hz gaming, HDR, and disc-free console. As if it's a feature. They don't give you a Blu-ray disc drive with this, which is wild for a $700 console. But hey, it is what it is. On one side of the box, you've got the front view of the console. On the other side of the box, you've got PlayStation 5 Pro branding. Top, exactly as you'd expect. And then the back, in addition to showing the console sideways, because yes, you can set it sideways with those tiny little, well, you'll see them in a couple minutes. We've got some callouts to some of the upgrades on the PlayStation 5 Pro over the previous PlayStation 5. You've got PlayStation 5 Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR. If you say that differently, it sounds bad. Essentially what this is AI upscaling, which allows you to play games at 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, which is not always the case for every game on this console. In addition to that, you've got the upgraded GPU, which apparently has 67% more compute units, and then you've also got 28% faster memory, so in theory you should get a smoother gaming experience. And then the final big improvement is advanced ray tracing. So I think in a lot of ways, this is a console for people who want PC quality gaming experiences without a lot of the PC hassle. I mean, for $700, you'd hope so. Let's cut the two seals on the top of the box and see what we've got inside. So inside you've got, of course, another box as usual. They love this outer sleeve. They do it in every PlayStation 5. First things first, we've got what looks like the power cable. You've got your black power cable, you've got your, oh, these are the little stands that I was talking about. So you can pop these into the bottom of your console, or I guess the side of your console, and then lay it sideways if you want. Or you can spend $30 and buy the metal stand, which I have actually bought for my PlayStation 5 Slim, which I might replace with this. I'm not totally sure whether I'm going to keep this yet or not, but we'll find out as we go along throughout the review. Next up, we've got, it looks like on the right side, an HDMI cable and a USB-C to USB-C cable. And then, of course, you've got your PlayStation 5 controller right here. The DualSense controller is amazing. I love it. It's an excellent, excellent controller, and honestly, in my opinion, is the most next-gen feeling thing about the console. It's also one of the reasons why I love the PlayStation Portal, because the PlayStation Portal is basically a DualSense with a screen in the middle. It's awesome. Now let's get to the PlayStation 5 Pro. At least I think so. There we go. Of course, you've got some manuals right here, and that's pretty much all there is inside the box. It feels definitely heavier than the Slim, which would make sense. And it actually feels like a similar size to the standard PlayStation 5, the OG. Oh, I like this. Right off the bat, the first thing I'm noticing is the fact that the top and bottom faceplates on either side are all matte, versus the PlayStation 5 Slim, which has a glossy one on the top and a matte one on the bottom. Now, one problem with this is that if you bought any of those new faceplates that come in different colors, they're not compatible. I'm sure they will release new faceplates for the PlayStation 5 Pro in the future. Size-wise, it does look to be maybe a tad thinner, but it is also the same height as the OG PlayStation 5, so it's kind of a middle ground size. And I guess the marquee feature of this PlayStation 5 Pro are these three fins that run along the side of the console, which I'm actually not sure if they have any cooling capabilities in there or not. I don't think there's any vents. I think these are just purely aesthetic additions. This is truly just to look different. I really would have thought they had some sort of ventilation or venting going on the side, but they don't. At least from what I can tell, I don't think there is. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that these are just like stuck onto the side of the console. I mean, I didn't see any holes or gaps or anything in there. Visually, it had the affordance. If you know, if you're an industrial designer, you know, it has the affordance of venting or of some sort of cooling, but it's a lie. Other than these three useless black plastic accents, the shape of the console is pretty similar to both of the previous PS5s, both the Slim and the Standard Edition. The actual feel of the plastic on the white faceplates is the same as the OG PlayStation 5. You do have your PlayStation 5 logo right there, sort of punched through, which I like. And then, of course, running down the center of the console, you do have that glossy black plastic. And the venting does seem to take place right here on the edges, between the black plastic and this white faceplate. Now, on the front of the console, you do have two USB-C ports. One of them is a high-speed port, and one of them is kind of a standard USB 2 port, which is frustrating. You do have your power button right down there, and that's pretty much all there is on the front of the console. Then on the back, you've got your HDMI, you've got your LAN input, and then you've got your USB Type A's, 2 USB Type A's, and a power input. Now what's interesting, between each one of these ports, you do have these circle, X, and triangle and square icons, which I'm assuming allow you to feel which port you're feeling, but usually you can kind of feel what the port is with your finger anyway, so you probably know what it is. But that is kind of a nice addition. Very small detail, but I kind of like it. Another small detail, which I'm just noticing now, is the PlayStation icon logo right there on the bottom right of the left side of the console. Of course, you do still have the screw cover in the bottom of the console for your stand, because it still uses the same stand as the PlayStation 5 Slim. And you can also switch out the SSD in your previous PlayStation 5s and put them in the new PlayStation 5 Pro. And there actually is a way to do it that allows you to not have to completely wipe it and then install it in the new console and not have to worry about it. I don't know how to do that personally. I just have read that you can do that. So that's something to keep in mind. You don't have to completely wipe the SSD. You should be good. Now the PlayStation 5 Pro does come with 2 terabytes of storage, which is amazing compared to the 825 gigabytes on the original PlayStation 5. So for some people, they might not even need to upgrade to a big SSD. On my slim PS5, I actually have a 2 terabyte SSD in there, so I think I have a total of 3 terabytes. So if I do decide to switch over the SSD and make this my main console, this will have 4 terabytes, which sounds like it should be overkill, but for the size of games these days, I mean, you could probably put like 20 games on there, max, at least big games. Actually, no, I don't know. Madden's like 150 gigs. Call of Duty, I think, is 100 or 200 or something insane like that. I don't know. Nowadays, games are big. I will say I really like how PlayStation handled their expandable storage. You could put in a laptop SSD into your PlayStation 5 and expand the storage that way, whereas with Xbox, you have to use this proprietary little thing. It looks like a PlayStation 2 memory card. It's ridiculous, and it's only usable on an Xbox. Whereas this, you can pop it out if you need to and use it in something else. Not that you would, but I really prefer the way PlayStation handled it. And design-wise, I do still think that I like the PlayStation 5 Pro visually better than the Xbox Series X and Series X discless, which I just unboxed on the channel a couple days ago, or maybe a week or 2 ago at this point. Actually, let me grab the PlayStation 5 Slim really quick and we can do a size comparison. All right, so here's the PlayStation 5 Slim. Granted, it is on a stand, so it's a little bit higher than it usually would be. I was gonna grab the standard PlayStation 5, but it's like mounted on the back of my TV downstairs, and I didn't feel like it was necessary to grab it. I don't know, maybe I should have. I feel like I'm being lazy now. Whatever, this is the only version on sale, so this is one that I'm gonna talk about. Now, the PlayStation 5 Slim obviously is a tad slimmer than the PlayStation 5 Pro, and it actually is shorter than it even looks here because I've got the stand on the bottom. As I mentioned earlier, the topmost panels are glossy on the Slim and matte on the Pro, and of course on the Slim you just have one kind of strike down the side of the console instead of 3 fake vents. That's the one thing design-wise I don't love about the Pro. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of one of those mid-2000s Alienware PCs. Like those OG ones, the ones that I always used to just really wish that I had and never was able to get. And I feel like that design language is completely outdated. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's back. Who knows? To be fair, I didn't love the design of the PS4 Pro. The fact that it was like 3 sandwich pieces instead of 2. It just looks stupid. This looks better than that, but still, it's not the best. If you guys want to see a full in-depth review of the PlayStation 5 Pro, let me know in the comment section down below. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a full review on it, but if you guys would like to see that, I will definitely do that. I'll be honest, I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep this console because it was $700, and the performance improvements, from what I've heard, are somewhat negligible. So who is the PlayStation 5 Pro for? Is it for me? I actually still don't know. Essentially, the PlayStation 5 Pro was designed to give you the best possible experience on PlayStation 5 games. Now the problem is, in order to experience this upgraded PlayStation 5 Pro experience, the game that you're playing has to be patched by the developer. And if it's not going to be patched by the developer, you're not going to experience any new improvements other than maybe a smoother experience, a slightly smoother experience. That being said, for the games that are patched, you do get a better experience, whether that's better ray tracing, whether that's better draw distance, whether that's a better overall visual experience. You do get that with the PlayStation 5 Pro once the game is patched. However, according to Sony at launch, which is today, November 7th, there are only around 50 to 55 games that have been patched for the PlayStation 5 Pro. That being said, if there are some games right now that you're playing that don't have the patch yet, you're not going to be able to experience that pro level upgrade out of the box, which is disappointing. Now, to be fair, most games will probably get patched sooner rather than later, so I wouldn't worry about that too much, but it's kind of disappointing that there's no brand new PlayStation 5 games coming out that immediately utilize this new hardware the day of launch. Like, that would be nice to have a game that they could say, like, this game is way better on PlayStation 5 Pro. It looks better, it feels better, and you can only get this experience on PlayStation 5 Pro. They don't have that. There are a lot of games that feature enhancements on PlayStation 5 Pro, but they've been out for a while. One thing that's kind of cool about the PlayStation 5 Pro, though, is that you can actually enhance your experience on PlayStation 4 games. There's like a little slider in the menus that you can click that allows you to enhance across the board all of your PlayStation 4 games, which I think is a nice touch, and I'm excited to try that. That being said, you do have to own those games digitally because out of the box, this does not come with a disc drive. However, that being said, if you do have a disc drive in your PlayStation 5 Slim, you can move it over to your PlayStation 5 Pro. It is compatible. I don't know if the plates are the same size. I think that they are. Because of that, I would assume that the bottom plates are the same. I just know that they are compatible. So hopefully that's the case. Otherwise, your PlayStation 5 Pro is going to have a disc drive, but no plate covering the disc drive. But hey, if you already have a disc drive, you can swap it out and you're good to go. Now, the big question is the PlayStation 5 Pro worth the upgrade over a PlayStation 5? Now, again, I'm not speaking from personal experience because I have not yet even turned this console on, but from what I've been seeing, the performance improvements and the visual improvements are minimal. If you have a giant TV or you sit close to your TV, or if you have $700 burning a hole in your pocket, then upgrade. Some games give you a toggle switch, which allows you to switch between high fidelity mode, which means the graphics should be slightly better than the PlayStation 5, or performance mode, which should allow you to get similar graphics to what you got in the standard PlayStation 5, but at higher frame rates. So there are definitely pluses there, and this is a more powerful console than the PlayStation 5. There's no debating that, and this is absolutely the most powerful console on the market right now. But if you already have a PlayStation 5, your games already look pretty good. And it's not a huge improvement on the PlayStation 5 Pro if the game that you're playing even has that patch. Plus, all the games that you can play on the PlayStation 5 Pro are also compatible with the PlayStation 5 because technically it is the same console. So really, this is just a mid-cycle refresh with the new body that offers you a slightly better overall gaming experience. Is it worth upgrading? Well, that's kind of a question you've got to ask yourself. Do you want slightly better graphics or slightly smoother experiences? Then sure, sell your old PlayStation 5, trade it in, whatever you need to do, and buy the PlayStation 5 Pro for $700. If you'd rather spend like $450 or $500 on the PlayStation 5 Slim, save yourself $200 or $250. That's really not a bad way to go either. Plus, we're getting really close to the holidays. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of discounts on the PlayStation 5s, or at least bundles on the PlayStation 5s during Black Friday. So I definitely think value-wise, this might be the play. So long story short, no, I don't think it's worth upgrading to the PlayStation 5 Pro unless you really, really want the top-of-the-line PlayStation experience. However, if you don't already have a PlayStation 5 and you want to buy a PlayStation 5 and you're willing to spend $700 on this new home console, then yeah, grab the PlayStation 5 Pro. It is literally the best way to play PlayStation 5 games. So should I take my own advice and return it and keep the PlayStation 5 Slim? I might keep the Pro. Mainly because I want to do a review on it, and also I could sell the PlayStation 5 Slim and be good to go. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Hopefully it's worth it. I'll let you guys know if I do a full review on this console. Let me know your thoughts on the PlayStation 5 Pro in the comment section down below. Did you buy one? Did you pre-order one? Did you get the special edition that's going for like thousands of dollars now? Let me know all those thoughts in the comments. And of course, let me know if you want to see a full review on the PlayStation 5 Pro. I will definitely try and put that out for you if you guys are interested in that. Of course, if you want to grab a PlayStation 5 Pro or PlayStation 5 Slim or even the OG PlayStation 5, I made sure to leave links through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen to pick one up for yourself. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.